Association Men's State Basketball Championship game. This game is in the 1A men's classification and features the Thomas Jefferson Classical Academy Griffins and the Vance Charter School Nerds. Participants and players. First of all, for the visiting team, the Eastern champion Vance Charter School Nerds. Personnel starters, number 3, James Washington. Number 10, Weston Youngs. Number 11, Jake Wren.
Welcome to the 2026 NCHSAA Basketball Championships presented by Riddle & Riddle Injury Lawyers. Well, the lifelong dream of playing for a state basketball title comes true today. The curtain raises on a 16-game title bonanza. First time, 8 classifications, 8 for the men, 8 for the women, and we open with the smallest schools playing for the biggest prize. For the first time ever, Thomas Jefferson Classical and Vance Charter take the spotlight and play for the men's 1A Basketball Championship. Hi once again, everybody, and welcome to the biggest week in North Carolina basketball high school sports. Patrick Heenis alongside my longtime partner, Jay Sohnhalter. And Jay, this is what it's all about. The extension of the classifications. We're going to see the next 4 days littered with schools who have never played for a title play today.
An opportunity for both schools and communities, too, to have a special moment, and the job is not done, but boy, have they had impressive playoff runs to get to this point here at Wake Forest.
All right, let's get to some of the key players for this opening game. Brought to you by Riddle & Riddle, our players to count on. Brought to you by Riddle & Riddle, When Justice Counts. Who do you like in this 1A men's title game?
Well, starting with Vance Charter, Gary Wilkins at 6'6", can control the paint area, and he's had a special year. 19 points, 6 rebounds per game. He's the force down in the low block on the defensive end. He's a presence as well, blocking shots, and the offense and defense all runs through Wilkins. He had 19 points in their regional final victory, and look for him to be aggressive early on in this ball game. Over on the other side for Thomas Jefferson Classical, Bryson Luther, the school's all-time leading point scorer, has had a great career, and this season he has been the catalyst for his ball club. Almost 16 points per game, but his real asset is his ability to get his teammates involved, get everybody touches with good looks, and he's the leader on the defensive end. He's a pest out on the perimeter, creating steal opportunities and really putting pressure on the opponents, making it difficult to get the ball into the post.
All right, Jay, now let's switch to our keys to the game. The Ingles food for thought, low prices, love the savings. How does this game play out?
For Vance Charter, getting to the free throw line will be important. They do a good job executing there and being physical down in the paint area and then controlling the pace of this game, knowing when to push, knowing when to slow things down. Over on the other side, Thomas Jefferson Classical, limiting turnovers. Too many in the regional final victory. They want to play cleaner and then being physical, especially down the low block, attacking the glass. They want to be physical and win that aspect of the game.
We are ready to kick off a 16-game championship buffet. The top seed out of the East, Vance Charter, they won 17 straight. Thomas Jefferson Classic, the 8 seed out of the West. They have never been here before. Somebody will become a first-time state champion. Vance Charter, Thomas Jefferson, up next.
The broadcast stream of these championship games is brought to you by Tip Top Roofing, Faith Family Roofing.
If you're a fan of high school basketball in the state of North Carolina, don't change the channel for the next, 96 hours, because here we go. Game 1 of 16. Neither of these teams, Jay, in 1A, have ever had the opportunity to live a dream that they had when they were that age. But here they are playing for the 1A Men's State Basketball Championship. Vance Charter, Thomas Jefferson.
An opportunity to reach your goal, and both programs have the same goal at the beginning of this season. Now here at Wake Forest, a great atmosphere here. The crowd has been here early, Patrick, ready for this tip-off, and both teams here have a lot of high hopes in this game.
And here's the jump ball they've been waiting a lifetime for. Vance Charter controls there in the traveling blue, trimmed in yellow, the number 1 seed out of the East. The Knights are 22-2. Meanwhile, Thomas Jefferson Classical Academy, the Griffons, the 8 seed out of the West. They're in the home whites out of Mooresboro, North Carolina. Population 168. I think they're all here today. This will be a game of tempo. Who will control? It's tipped out of bounds. It will stay with the Knights.
And both teams coming to this ball game excellent on offense, but the foundation is really the defense, Patrick. Early on here, you see the man-to-man defense from Thomas Jefferson coming out. Good job applying pressure out on the perimeter.
The top scorer for the Knights is wearing number 34. An entry pass tipped away, picked up by Gary Wilkins, who averages 16 a game. And that's poked away nicely by Kenyon Surratt. And Surratt takes the pass, knocked out of bounds by Vance Colin Hughes, retreating defensively. We'll see a grinder of a game on the defensive end for both squads. And Thomas Jefferson will go on offense. Here are the starting lineups for Thomas Jefferson, brought to you by Tatum and Atkinson. Injured in a car wreck, call the heavy hitters at Tatum and Atkinson. Rebound ripped out of there by Gary Wilkins, and here come the Knights up the floor. The starting five, Tatum and Atkinson for Vance Charter.
This group led by Wilkins offensively, but all five guys very balanced. This is a talented group, and Patrick, in the regional finals over on the east side at East Carolina Minji's Coliseum, over on the west side at Lenore-Rhine, he had an atmosphere, a college atmosphere to play in, but this is a great setting, and it's going to be important early on for the teams to get into a rhythm.
So first free throws of the championship presented by Tatum and Atkinson. Injured in a car wreck, call the heavy hitters at Tatum and Atkinson. There's Taron Downey, the head coach for Vance Charter. It's a special homecoming for him. He grew up in Oxford, but he played 4 years here as a point guard with Wake Forest. With Josh Howard and Chris Paul, he's back on his home floor and trying to take this high school team to a state title. Baseline drive, the kick in the paint, and the short jumper is missed by Chance Malachi, and Vance Charter has the rebound. Fadeaway jumper off the heel by Pentney. And the Griffons down the floor.
The pace picking up here. Good job getting back on defense.
Twice we have seen Colin Hughes recover defensively to stifle what would be odd man breaks down the floor.
Here he comes, just hustling from the opposite end to send this ball out of bounds and doing a good job on the defensive end, creating havoc.
The Thomas Jefferson Classical Academy out of Mooresboro, North Carolina, Rutherford County. The Griffons were only 9-7 in their conference, but basically all of the teams in the top half of their conference made the Elite Eight. So they came in 16-12 overall as Malachi draws them even. And a foul off of the ball will go against Thomas Jefferson. This one will be charged against Gage Lawson. And there is Will Lewis, first year head coach for the Griffons. And the soccer team won the 1A title on PKs back in November. And now Thomas Jefferson tries to add a basketball championship to now an emerging trophy case.
And they came in as an 8 seed. So they weren't one of the top seeds when this all started. But boy, have they gone on a special run to make it here to Wake Forest, and really just clicking at the right time. They played a difficult schedule to get them ready for this playoff run.
They started the year 1-4. They lost 4 in a row right around Christmas across New Year's as they turn it over. And here is Pentney as we get a whistle. Hard to hear with the volume of the crowd here. And this one will go against Thomas Jefferson. Malachi picks up his first. But as you mentioned, through the playoffs as an 8 seed, they had to knock off top seed in Robbinsville in the second round. Chatham Charter as the 4 seed in the regional semis. And then they finally took down Jackson Day. They had beaten by Jackson Day twice this year. But in most of those games, the first game, Kenyon Surratt was out with an injury. Second game, Saddle with some foul trouble. And he's full go here today. But they led to a 61-48 win in the regional final to get here. Some early foul issues now for the Griffons. And here is Gary Wilkins, the 6'6 senior. He's going to be a problem on the inside. He's a problem as Nick Pentney knocks down a 3-point jumper, our first of the championship. Sponsored by Paramount. Visit ParamountAuto.com. A foul in the backcourt against Vance Charter.
That's a good look from Pentney on the outside with his feet set at time. Clear look. Pentney, they get the ball inside to Wilkins, and he was ready to shoot. And He is one of those talented outside shooters, and that's the problem. If you double team Wilkins down the post, it's going to allow those guys out of the perimeter to have clean looks.
There's a lot of balance offensively for the Knights. Wilkins averages 20. Pentney is next in line at about 11 per. 5'4", Vance Charter. About halfway through the opening quarter. We'll watch this mismatch on the inside all game long. Ball knocked loose, and there's Wilkins to recover again. And Gary Wilkins, averaging 20 a game and had 19 in the regional final, extends the lead back to 3.
And now a turnover from Thomas Jefferson, and Vance Charter starting to get a little bit of rhythm here on offense as Wilkins, nice pass down low, but then here just staying relentless on the boards, not giving up and crashing the glass.
And they go right back to the inside baseline, spin, right past Fuller. Easy bucket for Wilkins. That could be a problem for Thomas Jefferson for the course of this one.
They've got to play through him.
And a hard attack. Layup is missed by Omar Griffin. And here come the Knights the other direction with a 5-point lead. Wilkins now at the high post, attacks Fuller, stripped from the backside by Surratt, and down the floor he weaves to the hole, he'll lay it in and draw the foul. That's a big flip from one end with Wilkins on the block to the clean steal and the finish by Surratt.
This is excellent work from Surratt. He gets the steal from Wilkins as he's turning his back, just comes in, picks it, and then takes it all the way, takes on the contact for the and one. But that's what you've got to do, Thomas Jefferson. Vance Charter going on a little bit of a run, pick it up on the defensive end, allow that to create offense.
Foul charge against Kean Richardson for the Knights, so it is Surratt, but a near triple-double in the regional final, and misses the free throw. He had 18 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists. And the free throw missed. 3-point lead for the Knights. 4 minutes have elapsed in the opening quarter. They go right back to the inside Wilkins, and on a dive cut, the pass tipped out of bounds. It'll stay with Vance Charter. So away we go in the first of 16 state championship games over the next 4 days. We are underway. The broadcast presented by Riddle & Riddle Injury Lawyers. It's the 1A men's title game. Vance Charter the early lead on Thomas Jefferson. And back to Winston-Salem. Here's a look at some of our fans today on our Original Grills fan cam. Elevate your grill game. And man, what a great atmosphere. The small schools bringing the big noise. We talked about Thomas Jefferson Classical's journey as the 8th seed. Let's talk about the Knights, because yes, they're the #1 seed in the East, but Jay, in the regional final a couple of days ago, they were down 18 points in the second half before they roared back to win by 4 and got here.
And kind of a shock they were down, but they grinded that victory out, and that was a tough ball game. But they really had to come together. Everything was on the line.
Oh, look at that feed by Nick Pentney. Missed the 3, curled to the foul line to get his offensive rebound, and then through midair hung, and just a discard to his right to find Wilkins.
This is just that extra effort as Pentney goes in. A little bump there, but a great pass around the outstretched arm to find Wilkins. He was held there a little bit on his jersey. You could see that number 4 getting pulled up there, but he's still able to focus and finish.
Well, you can see Pentney, number 2 in blue. He is a gamer, and a hard take there by Omar Griffin, who's off the bench for Thomas Jefferson because there are 2 early fouls on Chance Malachi, who averages 10 a game. Wilkins lost the handle. Steal by Surratt. Tries to control, knees it ahead, and then some contact. The whistles are swallowed and finally blown with 4 players of the 10 on the net. Our officials. Good time to bring up the officials here. Our referee is Carl Armstrong. It's his 2nd state championship game. He did a women's game last year. He's the referee. Donald Smith is in his 1st ever state championship game, and Mike Dixon. Those are the 3 officiating this men's 1A game. 3:15 for the first quarter. 11-8 Vance Charter. 3 defenders locating the open man, Luther. Oh, there he is. Haven't had a lot of offensive touches for their top scorer, Bryson Luther. Knocks down his 50th 3 of the year.
He's the school's all-time leading scorer, and that's a good look. And Surratt bringing over the double team to find Luther outside.
And look at Wilkins just easily pivoting deep on the block. 2-3 defenders thrown at him, but still no contest. Now we get an offensive foul against the Griffons in the backcourt. That's going to be the 2nd foul on Surratt. And that is a big harpoon for Thomas Jefferson in this first quarter.
And he's had 2 steals on the defensive end, and he's going to have to head over to the sideline to preserve himself from those fouls. But he has played great here early on in this game.
Yeah, Malachi sits with 2 fouls. Now Surratt sits with 2. Major foul harm and trauma for Thomas Jefferson. Pentney out near midcourt. There's a strip. Diving onto the loose ball. Chase Collick just off the bench. Forces the turnover and gets a timeout call. That's what you're looking for when you have your stars going down in foul trouble. Off the bench, and Chase Collick, the junior, forces the turnover and gets the timeout.
Well, he came out there and immediately makes an impact on the floor. That defense staying low, just being difficult to get around. Quick hands there, and then that fortitude to get the ball, call the timeout, and that's the defensive pressure you've got to face against Vance Charter, because their whole goal is getting the ball inside to Wilkins. But if they can't get it in because that pressure on the outside is so difficult, that's going to slow down their offense.
All right, Jake, 2:36 to go first quarter. Let's catch our breath and let's reset, because we had a chance to talk with some of the Vance Charter fans and Thomas Jefferson fans before the game. These games have such huge meaning, but really for the small communities across the state of North Carolina, it almost has outsized community impact.
Well, and you can just feel that atmosphere of family here. I mean, this is the 2 1A schools, but this crowd is great here. It seems like everybody from the school and even the towns has come here to Wake Forest, and this crowd is as big as some of the other larger classifications here. 12 o'clock on Wednesday. So as a player, you can feel that support. You want to go out here, get the win, and make everyone proud.
I mean, it's the midday of a midweek in March, and the communities have basically shut down. 13-11, the Vance Charter lead. A takeaway by that splendid Knights defense, and Pentney brings it up the floor. 2 of the starters for Thomas Jefferson on the bench with 2 fouls.
And see this defensive pressure out on the perimeter. It's extended, making it difficult, and there another turnover created from that work and that hustle. A good team defense communicated.
Yeah, Luther got his hands in it, stripped off with the knee of Pentney. And now the Griffons down the floor, 2 minutes to play in the opening quarter. Thomas Jefferson trailing by 2. This is Gage Lawson. There's a lot of balance on the offensive side for the Griffons this year under Will Lewis. First-year head coach for Thomas Jefferson. Baseline drive. And we got a blocking foul there. The arms are raised by Colin Hughes, but number 5 in blue will pick up his first.
With Luther's ability to shoot the outside shot, you've got to come out and contest it. And then when he drives by, he got into the body enough to get to the free throw line. With such a heady player, a senior, has had such a great career, prolific scorer, and this is his final ball game in the Thomas Jefferson jersey.
And the Tatum and Atkinson first free throw missed. Injured in a car wreck. Call the heavy hitters at Tatum and Atkinson. One more coming for Luther, and he makes 1 of 2. Vance Charter 13, Thomas Jefferson 12. And the Knights into the half court. Langston Turrentine whips a bounce pass in deep. Wilkins, that shot deflected away, and Wilkins could not save, and he touched it last. Turnover to the Griffons.
And the pressure again, Patrick, we've been talking about almost every possession here is being extended, and that defensive effort is creating problems getting that entry pass into Wilkins.
So Thomas Jefferson can shoot for the lead here as Lawson brings it ahead. We'll see where the scoring comes from. Certainly Bryson Luther is going to be the spotlight guy. Wild spin, but a bailout foul on Vance Charter. Not exactly sure where Griffin was going with that as he drew two defenders. A lot of attention on the baseline here.
This is the first on Wilkins. Looked like he just went up and down.
Gary Wilkins surprised. Didn't look like much contact at all, but back to the free throw line goes Thomas Jefferson. Here's Omar Griffin, 6-foot senior, averaging 9 a game off the bench. And he misses the first of two. So one more coming from the Tatum and Atkinson free throw line. If you're injured in a car wreck, call the heavy hitters at Tatum and Atkinson. Will Lewis, first-year head coach for Thomas Jefferson Classical Academy. Played a very tough non-conference. Get his team prepared for a deep run, which is exactly what they've seen over the last couple of weeks. Tied at 13. Wilkins, mismatch, and to the hole, and an easy drop-in. Windmish keeping off the bench, and no resistance there as Wilkins already has 10 points.
They got the entry pass into Wilkins, but very smartly, he quickly turned, didn't allow the double team to come over, a spin move to get to the hoop.
Luther, one-on-one against Hughes. Ball knocked loose. Griffin in trouble. Steps through, finds a teammate. Wimbush. Shot missed on the inside. Griffin. And here comes the Knights. Petney, I mean, this guy is an attacker and draws the foul with 27 seconds left in the first quarter.
He's got an extra speed. I mean, once he crosses midcourt, he just turns it on and can really create to get to the hoop. There he is going in, getting into the body for two free throws here. But he's a difference maker on this offense with his shooting ability from the outside and then the ability to create and penetrate into the paint area.
So Petney, one more free throw. Vance Charter leading 16-13. I mean, he has one speed in its fifth gear. Defensively, offensively, noticeable on this floor for a state title. Throw to the inside, Wilkins steps right in front of it. And Vance Charter is going to have a shot at the last attempt here in the first quarter, trying to build on a 4-point lead. Turrentine. James Washington enters. Wilkins with 10 points. The hand back to Washington, and he gets fouled with 4 seconds left. And more free throws coming up for Vance Charter.
Good execution here as the clock is winding down. Give and go. There comes the double team, and then nice cut from Washington. A little handoff from Wilkins. He knew exactly where Washington was going to be once he made that sprint towards the hoop.
So the sophomore James Washington for his first points of the championship. And the Knights, I mean, they are dominating in the paint. They're getting to the free throw line. These are very good ingredients to winning a state championship. They're up by 5.
And one of the keys at the beginning of the broadcast was getting to the free throw line, and they've done that here in the first, just being aggressive.
4 seconds to go. Malachi back on the floor. The runner, side of the rim, and we're 8 minutes deep in the 1A title game. And the top seed out of the East, Vance Charter, holds a 6-point lead over the 8 seed, Thomas Jefferson out of the West. It has been Gary Wilkins leading the way. 10 points for the Knights in the opening quarter. 19-13, Vance Charter. through our first quarter stats brought to you by the Arthritis Knee Pain Center. Here are the stats. Arthritis Knee Pain Center, relief without surgery or opioids, Jay.
Well, the rebounding has been great for Vance Charter. Crashing the glass, winning there. Gary Wilkins, 10 points. Both teams shooting pretty well from the outside, and I would expect both coaches were pleased with how their defenses were playing. Should be a great ball game, Patrick.
Wilkins in that opening quarter, 10 points and 6 of those 8 rebounds for the Knights. And he is on the floor trying to post up as the Knights throw it away. Surratt to Luther out of the corner. Fuller working for room, and a nice bounce pass to Surratt, who's back on the floor with 2 fouls.
Unselfish offensive possession. Went from Luther down to the post to Fuller, and then he saw Surratt out of the corner of his eyes. It's important for 2 fouls. He's got to preserve. Surratt has played so well, but he has to be careful here on defense.
First quarter points in the paint brought to you by Ready to Roll Garage Doors. Call Raleigh's garage door experts today. 10 all, but it feels a lot more lopsided in Vance Charter's favor with Wilkins, right?
Yeah, it does, and there's now 12 for Vance Charter, so they're really attacking the hoop, winning in the paint area. On the other side for Thomas Jefferson, it's not really post touches, it's more driving, fast break opportunities in the paint. It's just a different style, but Vance is playing through Wilkins.
21-15. Luther likes the corner 3 long, well then Fuller shoved James Washington in the back and commits the foul, trying to get position for the offensive rebound. First on Fuller. Now the game within the game right now for Thomas Jefferson. Surratt back on the floor with 2 fouls. They can ill afford number 3 anytime soon in this second quarter. And Malachi is back out there as well with 2 fouls. So living dangerously, but it's a state title game. Got to throw all the chips in the middle.
They've switched now to a 2-3 zone defense to help with the foul trouble.
Yeah, that 3 is missed by Washington. Offensive rebound by Wilkins. The kick out Pentney. This is his range. And Pentney hits his second 3 of the championship. It's brought to you by Kia of Asheville. Visit ParamountAuto.com. 24-15, Vance Charter up 9.
He averages right at 11 points per game, already 8 in this ball game.
And the defense much more active now for the Knights. Lawson surveys, skips to Malachi. Fuller against Wilkins. Bank shot short, chased his own miss, couldn't get it, and Pentney the rebound for the Knights.
And if you're Vance Charter, 9-point lead, this is really where you want to turn it on and stretch this out, play with all the momentum that you have.
Hughes is through to a spot. Pentney got to the place, guarded by Gage Lawson. Hughes goes inside, and there's Wilkins again. He's been unstoppable, and the lead for Vance Charter grows to 11. This was a tie game about 3 minutes ago.
A 13-2 scoring run from Vance Charter. They've turned it on, and the defense was there. That was just an excellent pass, getting the ball to Wilkins.
Runner curls off the rim, and Wilkins grabs his 8th board. They go down the floor quickly. Turrentine finds Wilkins, and he traveled. Took the pass in a tough spot for the big man to handle, about 18 feet away, going absolutely downhill. And commits the offensive foul. Now that's number 2 on Wilkins.
I'll tell you what, he took that extra step, but I would not want to be in his way, going full speed, driving towards the hoop. A good job there, getting the turnover. And Thomas Jefferson, you've got to come up with something here on offense to slow down this run.
Coming up at halftime, the Air Experts Heating, Cooling halftime report. We'll have Hugh Tucker, the commissioner of the NCHSAA. First half highlights and more. Air Experts. Schedule your tune-up today at airexperts.com. Wilkins stays out there with 2 fouls, and he can't really play tight defense there. Now one is flipped in. First point for Winbush.
Yeah, the passing there going against the zone defense. Quick passes, trying to find a crease.
Pentney off the mark. And the rebound on the go for the Griffons. Surratt with 2 fouls, step through, scoops it short, and it's knocked over the end line. Last touch by Thomas Jefferson.
I know you want to push the pace, and you have numbers, but you have to find a way to execute there. And because this defense for Vance Charter has that anchor on the back end with Wilkins, making it difficult to score near the hoop. So when you get on the run and you're winning with numbers, you've got to finish.
I want to reset. We said that Wilkins a moment ago picked up his second foul. It's been downgraded to 1 for him, so 1 other has been reassigned tonight. So Wilkins is out there with 1 foul, not 2. This will stay with Vance Charter. And Keon Richardson will check back in for the Knights. Turrentine will depart. Chatted with his dad, who's the very first row. He was one of the first guys in this arena when the gates opened. Proud of his junior son. Low pass handled by Wilkins. Very good hands. That's a tough ball to handle for Wilkins. That was right around his ankles with pace.
Yeah, he's got soft hands, and he catches it like a wide receiver in football. And he was set up so low there in the paint area. There's nothing you can do as a defender when he gets good position.
He is 7 of 8 from the floor, along with 8 rebounds. Gary Wilkins. The lead is back to 11. Malachi ball fake, drives in, got held a bit, follows his own miss, and scores. 4 points for Malachi, who continues to play with 2 fouls.
They're hanging in there, keeping it single digits, having a response.
And Wilkins nearly lost it, saves it through the air. And out, the ball fake there by Richardson. 28-19, Knights lead.
Almost the 3rd steal for Surratt.
Richardson waited for the defender to drop down. Offensive rebound. Wilkins missed it from short range, and it's on the end line. The one thing that is so impressive, we'll talk more about Gary Wilkins' game when we come back. Media timeout midway through the second quarter for the 1A state title game. Vance Charter up by 9 on Thomas Jefferson. All right, fans, coming up near the conclusion of today's game, we will check out the Akeem Anastapoulo Law Firm play of the game. Injured? Don't scream, call Akeem. Dial 800 all 7s. And then we'll have the Riddle and Riddle player of the game, brought to you by Riddle and Riddle. Jay and I will select that. Riddle and Riddle injury lawyers, when justice counts. And right now, Gary Wilkins for the Knights making a huge push toward that. 14 points, 10 rebounds. He's got a double-double in the state title game with 3 minutes left in the first half. What's really impressive to me, he's all over the floor. I mean, he's not camping on the block waiting for an entry pass. I mean, he's coming the wing. He's running the floor. He's kind of flipping the side of the floor. Very impressive from Wilkins.
He's hustling, and as good as his numbers are on offense right now with the double-double, he's been just as impressive on the defensive end. He is the anchor, the foundation of everything they do, whether they're playing man-to-man or zone, because he's a rim protector, and he's really an eraser.
The Knights have 13 rebounds in this first half. Wilkins has 10 of them. And there's a turnover forced by Vance Charter. And here come the Knights. They're +9 here. Late state is first half. Deflected pass out of bounds. Surratt touched it last.
Surratt all over the floor on defense with those steals, those deflections. And they were trying to get the ball down to Wilkins, and the entry pass just wasn't able to get there because of his presence.
And right now it's Winbush trying to defend Wilkins on the inside. Off the bounce. The three-pointer's missed by Pentney, and that will be the second foul on Gary Wilkins. Over the top on the weak side. Now a decision for Taron Downey. Do you keep Wilkins on the floor, as impactful as he has been? Excellent work by Winbush to keep inside position right there.
Yeah, just trying to stay physical and keep his spot. And Wilkins will stay on the floor at least for the time being, but he has to be careful. He cannot get number 3 before we get to the halftime break.
That'll be an illegal screen set by Wimbush. That will be his second. And now going back to the offensive side, the Knights will keep Wilkins on the floor. And that entry pass tipped away by Wimbush, but it gets to Wilkins, draws 2 defenders, hands it off, and an easy corkscrew layup by Keon Richardson.
Richardson, the senior, recognizing the double team was over on Wilkins, created a clear path to the hoop, and there was no hesitation at all. He took it.
Knights return the lead to double figures, 30-19, approaching 2 minutes for the first half. Lawson lets it fly. Gage Lawson, his first championship 3. That one brought to you by Paramount Auto. Visit ParamountAuto.com. In it goes Wilkins. Got the roll. Beat the defender. No help side. 16 points for Gary Wilkins.
That was a big 3 from Lawson, and that's exactly what you need. You need a spark on offense, but then you got to get the stop on defense. You can't trade buckets. You've got to find a way here to gain some momentum if you're Thomas Jefferson going into the break.
There's Wimbush, short little baseline jumper. Good decision there. He could have attacked, probably would have met some resistance, and had touch from 6 feet away.
Smart mid-range jumper there. Quick passes on offense.
Speaking of quick, how about that little drive and the teardrop? Ian Richardson, the blow-by. Lead to 10 for Vance Charter, 34-24.
Richardson averages right at 10 points per game in double figures. Had a couple strong offensive drives here the past minute.
Surratt, the kick out. Malachi lowers the shoulder right into James Washington. The putback on the weak side is going to go, and a foul. Surratt, the big weak side offensive rebound, and he'll shoot one.
And the offense coming alive for Thomas Jefferson. Here's that extra effort going in, making the play. And head coach Will Lewis has to be pleased with Surratt's effort on defense and also the ability to play with these 2 fouls.
Foul goes on James Washington, and now to the see-through construction free throw line. Steps Kenyon Surratt, see-through construction, your contractor of choice on the OBX. Again, coming up, the Air Experts Heating and Cooling halftime show on the way. Q Tucker will join us. First half stats, highlights, and more. Air Experts, schedule your tune-up today at yourexperts.com. Inside the final 40 seconds. And a shot to get right back in it. Layup is missed. Offensive rebound by Malachi. And now Fuller, ball fake. Left it short, got it back. Throws it up widely. That almost went down unbelievably. And Wilkins with his 12th rebound. 20 seconds to play. First half, 34-27, Vance Charter. This is a big defensive stop here for the Griffons.
They're almost able to get it down to 5. If you can get a bucket here, stretch it to 9. That's huge.
Can they deny Wilkins? Baseline split, little flip. He gets it off the turntide. 1 second to go. Malachi from 80, no good. And we're at the break. Gary Wilkins doing it all for Vance Charter. 16 points, 11 rebounds, 6 on the offensive side, and an assist at the end to get the lead back to 9. 36-27 Vance Charter. Somebody's taking home a 1A title in the second half.
You're watching the Air Experts Heating and Cooling Halftime Report. Air Experts. Schedule your tune-up today at yourairexperts.com.
Well, hey there, everybody. Thank you all so much for tuning in to the State Championship High School Basketball Games. Joining us is our long-standing partner all the way from Ingalls Markets, Miss Melissa Level. Melissa, are you loving these excellent basketball games?
I love it. What a great season it's been, and the best of the best is right here now on television.
Best of the best is right. Now, let's talk about that long-standing and robust partnership between Ingalls and High School Championship Athletics. What all does that entail?
It's just absolutely wonderful to be able to connect with all the schools within our region. You know, we're in 6 states, and so we have Friday Night Lights with football, we do basketball, we have softball, even some Olympic style sports, and we go all the way up through college, and then of course some minor leagues. But we just love that high school spirit and the fun with that. A lot of those players work with us. A lot of their parents have a shop at our Ingalls, so it's kind of like a big family coming to watch all of them play, right? So we love that.
We love it as well. Melissa, as always, thank you for taking the time to speak with us here today.
Thank you.
All righty. Let's get back to the game, folks.
You're watching the Air Experts Heating and Cooling Halftime Report. Air Experts. Schedule your tune-up today at yourairexperts.com.
Championship week is always a special time for high school athletics in North Carolina. Joining us now is NCHSAA Commissioner Q Tucker to talk about what this event means for student athletes across the state. Commissioner Tucker, Championship week is finally here. What does this event mean for the student athletes who have worked all season to get to this stage?
All of the teams that are playing this week are regional champions. And so they enter this week as already a champion. And now they're trying to, put that cherry on the top, so to speak, and go home with a state championship.
This year's championships feature 16 games across 8 classifications for both boys and girls. What went into the decision to structure the championships this way?
A couple of years ago, the membership voted to amend our bylaws so that you could have no more than 64 schools in a classification. Now, it would have been very easy to stop at perhaps 6 classes, but at the rate we've been adding new schools, we would very quickly needed the membership to amend the bylaw again so that we could have more than 64 teams in a class, or we'd have to go ahead and have more classes. So the recommendation to our board of directors was that we go ahead and go to 8 classes, and that would give some flexibility in terms of adding new schools.
How does that expanded format create more opportunities for schools and student athletes across the state?
Because we have more schools that are getting into the playoffs than would have ever been in the playoffs, and they're able to make a deeper run. And that's exciting for those schools as well as for those communities.
For many of these athletes, this is the biggest stage they've ever played on. How does the association work with schools to prepare them for moments like this?
They needed to know, where your team will unload and how you get into the arena, what your dressing room situation will be like. Lawrence Joel Coliseum will be the largest arena they have been in for some of them. And so we just try to make sure that all the nuts and bolts are in place for the coaches to be able to share with the athletes.
When the final buzzer sounds on championship weekend, what do you hope every student athlete walks away remembering about this experience?
We want you to play hard. We want you to play to win, but we want you to do that and have fun so that you walk away and you think, we won, it was great. Or we were runner-up, but it was great. And I had a great time with my teammates. For some of them, it would be the last time that they put on that high school jersey because they're seniors. So we want them to go away with those memories that will last a lifetime.
Commissioner Tucker, thanks for joining us, and congratulations to all the teams competing this week.
Thank you very much.
You're watching the Air Experts Heating and Cooling Halftime Report. Air Experts. Schedule your tune-up today at yourairexperts.com.
Patrick Kiedis, Jason Halter back to the Joel in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. 1A Men's State Championship game. Vance Charter up 9 on Thomas Jefferson, 36-27. Jay, let's roll through some first half highlights. We're going to see a lot of number 34 in blue, Gary Wilkins, for the Knights. He was unstoppable.
Yeah, monster first half, 16 points, 12 rebounds. And here the outside shooting is what allowed some of those paint touches to really work. But it was kind of an effort in there in the first half from Wilkins, getting those offensive boards, one-on-one moves. His teammates found him the ball at different spots on the floor, and he just went to work. Then it was Surratt here that kind of made the plays for Thomas Jefferson. A couple steals, creating, getting others involved.
And foul trouble really bedeviled the Griffons in the first half. Surratt had 2, Malachi 2, Winbush off the bench trying to defend Wilkins on the block, picked up 2 as well. So they're down by 9 as we take a look at some first half stats. Big rebound and edge for Vance Charter, all primarily because of Gary Wilkins.
Yeah, his presence is just huge. Now he has 2 fouls, so that could be an issue here in the second half. But both teams shooting the ball pretty evenly from the field. Now, Vance Charter not doing it from the three-point line, but the turnover factor and rebounding, I think, will be a big catalyst here in the second half.
All right, those are the first half stats presented by Arthritis Knee Pain Center. Relief without surgery or opioids. Now the points in the paint presented by Ready to Roll Garage Doors. Call Raleigh's garage door experts today. 22-16 the edge for Vance Charter. We are at the break of the 1A men's title game. A 9-point lead for Vance Charter. 36-27 over Thomas Jefferson. Second half. We're 16 minutes from the 1A men's title. Third quarter starts next. Tell you what, if you've not been on the campus of Wake Forest University lately, it's been a few years for me. A lot has changed. There's the Legacy Federal Credit Union football stadium right across the parking lot from where we sit. We thank our great hosts here in Winston-Salem for putting up with me and Jay for the next 4 days. 16 games inside the Revere Lawrence Joel Coliseum. Second half about to get underway. Vance Charter, the top seed out of the East. They won 17 games in a row. Thomas Jefferson, the 8th seed from the West region, got all the way here to the state title game. They trail by 9 as we get underway. And the jumper missed by Malachi for the Griffons.
Just have that feeling that Thomas Jefferson has to come out here, make a push the first couple minutes. You cannot allow Vance Charter with this big lead to get comfortable, especially with Wilkins with that first half performance.
This is Colin Hughes driving, scoop, no, and by Wilkins was inches away from picking up an over-the-back third foul. In transition, and the layup by Gage Lawson. Well executed 2-on-1 by Thomas Jefferson.
And that's really where their offense was at its best in the first half, was getting out on the run, fast break opportunities. Luther with clean pass.
I mean, there's no shot right there. Fuller was fronting Wilkins, expecting help side defense. It didn't come. He's too quick to the rim. Jay, what do you do if you're Will Lewis? You've tried man-to-man, three different players, matter of fact. You played some zone. How do you slow him down?
I think, there isn't a clear answer. It's either just a true double team and really force somebody else to beat you. I mean, the other aspect is he's got 2 fouls, so maybe you really just try to attack to get him in foul trouble or to get him out of the game. But he is a tough matchup. But I think, for me, everything hasn't really worked to this point. I think you've just got to lock him up kind of as a vice. 2 guys, one behind him, one fronting, and then force somebody else to make a play.
38-29, Vance Charter. Thomas Jefferson burns an early timeout here in the third quarter. There is Gary Wilkins, listed at 6'6". Big frame, excellent touch, great hands as we saw handling a pass that was right down around his shoelaces in that first half. He is 8 of 10 in this state championship game. Check that, 9 of 11 now. So 18 points, 12 rebounds, and we are barely underway in the third quarter. And that pass is right through the fingertips of Bryson Luther. Pass was a tad high, but he has to bring that in.
Well, when you have a dominant player that you're going against, you cannot make mistakes or have turnovers. You have to play clean in other areas, knowing how well he's playing. You just can't have those turnovers on offense.
Turrentine 4 points the first half. That pass pinballs right back to Wilkins. And the short corner jumper short by Hughes. And now to the Griffons down the floor. And Surratt has to wait for the basketball to get to his fingertips. Down the lane, shifting hands, missed a layup. Fuller goes over the top though. Try to dislodge that basketball and commits his second foul. And Thomas Jefferson, they've had some opportunities as now we get a Vance Charter timeout. The transition bucket, but an unforced turnover, a missed layup, another missed mid-range jumper. You're down by 9 points here, early third quarter. You got to start knocking down the shots that are available and turning things up here defensively as well. 38-29 Vance Charter. And a reminder coming up, stay tuned following the game for the Akeem Anastapulo play of the game. Brought to you by Akeem Anastapulo Law Firm. Injured, don't scream, call Akeem. Dial 800 all sevens. Fuller has 2 fouls. Wimbush has 2 fouls. Malachi and Surratt also have 2. Living dangerously, plus you're down by 9. And Wilkins is eating you for lunch right now for Vance Charter. And he comes to the post. The pass doesn't come his way. There's Surratt, a steal. 2-on-1. They go against Pentney. Pentney drew the contact and drew the charge. He's everywhere you need him to be.
Pentney hustling back, the 2-on-1.
Some movement.
And he's almost backpedaling there, almost sprinting to get to the spot, and that's tough luck for Surratt.
That negates the and 1 and also applies a third foul to Surratt. And now Hughes, front rim, and the leaping putback from Langston Turrentine. That gets his dad onto his feet behind us. It's an 11-point lead for Vance Charter.
Great job from Turrentine, hustling, finding that open area where there's no box out.
And there's Turrentine, the steal. Charters against Fuller to the hole, scoops it in, draws the foul. Langston Turrentine has taken over in the last minute.
And 1 for Turrentine. Here's the steal. He gets it, rips it, and then goes coast to coast. And this is a difficult shot, finishing with that right hand, kind of falling away. And he has taken over here the last 2 possessions.
And to the free throw line. The Tatum and Atkinson free throw line goes Langston Turrentine. Injured in a car wreck. Call the heavy hitters at Tatum and Atkinson.
7 points, 2 rebounds, 2 steals for Turrentine here at the top of the pressure.
He had 5 points in the last 20 seconds. Oh, Wilkins went for the deflection, didn't get it. That frees up the middle, and the scoop layup beautifully executed by Omar Griffin.
You have to have a response when the other team has got it going. Thomas Jefferson looking for somebody to step up. This is a difficult shot from Griffin going in, skying through, taking the contact, and finishing with the spin.
Well, when Wilkins jumped out deep in the wing to try and deflect that pass, there is nobody home on the inside.
Yeah.
Credit to Griffin for the hard attack. 3-point play for Omar Griffin. 6 off of the bench. 43-32. Vance Charter leading. Jump pass to the inside. Good handle to bring it in. Shot, though, might have been deflected a bit. Save, though. Turrentine again.
9 points for Turrentine. He's turning it on. He's been the offensive force coming out of the halftime break.
Lead to 13. Biggest of the title game for Vance Charter. Malachi weaving and had the basketball poked out of bounds.
Thomas Jefferson down by 13. And They haven't gone on a run, and that's what they're hoping for. Their coach, Will Lewis, looking for somebody to step up here and get hot. But the big key is you got to get going on offense, but you have to find a way to get stops on defense.
A wild spin by Gage Lawson, but a whistle and a foul will go against Vance Charter. By the way, Bryson Luther is right now on the bench. Oh, I take it back. He's back in. But they need Luther and his ability to score. Luther actually is on the bench right now for Thomas Jefferson. So here comes Vance Charter up the floor. Petney. Tip pass right back to Petney. Tried to pass to his teammate, tip through the air, and Petney again downhill, races to another loose ball and gets the bucket. And quickly at the other end, Surratt's the counter.
These guards are so quick. I mean, back and forth. They find a way to get to the hoop.
4:15 for the third. Lead is back to 13 for the Knights. Strip. Surratt spilled into backcourt, dives after it, and if it's on Surratt, that's number 4, and it is the 4th foul on Kenyon Surratt. All-out hustle for a loose ball. He forced a strip. He was thinking layup the other way, but Richardson was in the direction he was going. That's a tough one to pick up for Surratt.
And he was going for his 4th steal. I mean, he has been all over the floor, and that's just difficult with what he's been able to do in this game. He's going to have to sit for a while.
So now Luther remains on the bench. Surratt joins him with 4 fouls. Luther not in foul trouble. So that turnover earlier in the third quarter, and they've gone a different direction. 3:50 for the third. Pass out front, tipped again, saved by Petney. Petney locates his teammate Richardson, baseline drive, the reload, yes! Kean Richardson. We've seen some outstanding athletes on the floor for Vance Charter on display in this third quarter.
And the defense was sprinting at him. He used the shot fake to get the defender up in the air, then just floated for the finish.
That three-quarter hit the side of the glass by a Wimbush. Bounce pass ahead to Washington, no. And this game getting a little bit frenzied up and down the floor. Lawson makes a shot, wave it off. That's another offensive foul, and it's another one taken by Nate Petney. Second offensive foul he has drawn and taken potentially 6 points off the board for Thomas Jefferson. 3:13 for the third. Vance Charter feels like they're in control. 49-34 Knights. All right, basketball fans, here's a look at some of our fans at today's game on our Original Grills Fan Cam. Elevate your grill game. You can do that grill game right now. It's 80 degrees outside this facility here in central North Carolina in March.
A couple of weeks ago, we had like 3 jackets. Well, today, short sleeve shirts. We're hot with our suits on, but this is the time of year where we get here to March and state championship finals. What a special time for these kids.
Well, we talked about how Thomas Jefferson needed to somehow get Gary Wilkins under control. For the most part, they've done it, but now it has allowed a dance floor to be taken by Langston Turrentine and a lot of Wilkins teammates.
This is where your teammates have to step up and you create balance with your squad, and other guys are making plays when the whole goal is to slow down Wilkins.
Kick to the top, Washington for three, book it. James Washington's first three of the title game. Brought to you by Paramount Kia of Asheville. Visit ParamountAuto.com. The lead is now swelled to 18. Turrentine can't save. To me, Jamie, the effort is there from Thomas Jefferson, but the execution has not been. Some unforced turnovers. They feel to me like they're trying to score 9 points on every possession.
Yeah, and it's just hard because you have the defensive presence of Wilkins down there, and he makes it stressful when you have the ball trying to score. I'll tell you what, Vance Charter against Southern Wake Academy, they were down 18 in the regional final, came back to win this game, their game. So now on the other side, Thomas Jefferson looking at that same comeback, and that's a good start here, getting to the line. Chance Malachi with the finish.
And Malachi off of the offensive rebound to the free throw line.
The bucket was good for Malachi. He's the line.
So one from the Tatum and Atkinson free throw line. Injured in a car wreck. Called the heavy hitters at Tatum and Atkinson. Free throw missed by Malachi. And we'll go to Vance with a 16-point lead. 52-36. 2:25 and counting in this third quarter. Pentney barrels ahead, switches hands. Oh, how did he get that one to go? That was in his right hand to the left and then back to the right on the other side of the rim. And now Pentney kind of running right alongside. He commits the foul. First foul on Pentney.
Pentney has 12 points. The big stat for him is those 2 charges that he took. Not only were they turnovers for Thomas Jefferson, but they really changed momentum and swung it even more in Vance Charter's way.
13th rebound for Gary Wilkins. Under 2 minutes for the third. Wide open look for Richardson. And there's Washington going over the top on the backside for the offensive rebound. And they'll milk a little more clock. Long pass to the block. Wilkins got the defender in the air, and he'll head to the free throw line. That's number 3 on Von Wimbush.
And just different guys are guarding Wilkins, trying to slow him down. This is a good pass, throwing the ball high so Wilkins could get it. He had a clear path on that baseline.
And coaching on that sideline for Taryn Downey. The 4 players not shooting free throws right around their head coach. Stay tuned. The Riddle and Riddle player of the game coming up at the end of our broadcast. Brought to you by Riddle and Riddle. When justice counts. 1 of 2 for Wilkins. He leads all scorers with 19. That is the lead right now for Vance Charter. 55-36 in this 1A men's championship game. The runner missed by Malachi. Rebound in the hands of Vance Charter and James Washington. And Jay, you mentioned it in the regional final as Collick takes a foul way out on the perimeter. In the regional final against Wake Academy, Vance Charter was down 18 points in the second half. They had to outscore Wake Academy 23-4 in the fourth quarter to squeak out a win, 56-52. If that doesn't happen, they're not even here. And now look at this runaway train. They're up 19 with about 9 minutes to go before a state champion is crowned. And they are in line, air to the throw.
That Southern Wake Academy team is very talented, and that was a difficult test that they almost didn't make it through. But that really tests you when you're down by that deficit. Having to bond together, and Teron Downey's team did just that. They got that big victory. Then a little bit of time to rest from last week, regroup, and they've come out here playing fresh, inspired basketball.
Pentney and Wilkins in that regional final combined for 39 points, but Pentney hit the biggest shot of that comeback to finally lift the Knights to the lead on Southern Wake Academy. He said after the game he felt like he was letting his team down, but made the big shot that got him here. And on the missed shot, it's a 3-on-0, and Richardson is into double figures. And this one is now getting out of hand. Lead is 22 now. Lawson misses a 3. Fingers of Malachi.
The outside shot just has not fallen consistently enough for Thomas Jefferson. And their defense, they've been playing hard, but you've got to find a way to knock down those threes, get turnovers to try to get a break here and try to make it a little closer, but you're sitting at a huge deficit right now underneath a minute left in the first.
Carl Armstrong, the referee, saw some action off of the ball. And it's a foul on Thomas Jefferson.
James Washington in the line.
Now let's watch right there on the left side of your screen. Like that pick right around the foul line. I think that was Wimbush. So back to the Tatum and Atkinson free throw line. This is James Washington, just a sophomore, youngest player on this entire Vance Charter roster. So Washington connects. The lead is now 24. 50 seconds for the third. Leaning in, drawing some contact is Malachi. Stops the clock with 47 seconds left.
Nice foul charge to number 1.
Malachi's played well in this game. 6 points. Good drive there to get the contact.
The 2 shots for the Griffins.
Malachi to the free throw line. Thomas Jefferson has a team 4 of 8 from the line. Vance Charter's been there 13 times. Malachi is really unable to get into a game rhythm here in the title game. He picked up 2 early fouls that first quarter. It kind of took him off track a bit. And then we saw Will Lewis just try to plug in some pieces to get the right combinations on the floor. And a title game, that's not where you want to be. You want to go with your best 5, the 5 who are in sync and play together for so many minutes over the course of the year.
Well, the foul trouble and mixing guys in and out and trying to find different looks to slow down Wilkins, it's difficult. And showing different defenses to try to slow down this offense, doing everything he can to gain some traction.
Malachi swirls that one in. He makes a pair. 60-38. Vance Charter leading Thomas Jefferson. 40 seconds left in the third quarter. Penny has really been fun to watch in this one. Look at him handle a basketball. Spin, crossover, protects the basketball. Whipping bounce pass from Turrentine. He'll get it back from Wilkins. The leaner off the heel, top of the glass. And there's Washington for the offensive rebound. The bucket for Washington.
11 offensive rebounds for Vance Charter.
Foul at the other end after the bucket by Griffin. And he's had a nice third quarter for the Griffons. 11 seconds to go in the third.
Nice pass from Thomas to Griffin as he was out on the perimeter and sprinted straight towards the hoop.
Tatum and Atkinson free throw line for injured in a car wreck. Call the heavy hitters at Tatum and Atkinson. Free throw miss. Offense rebound. Big, huge rejection by Wilkins. 7 seconds left still with Thomas Jefferson. Another one by Wilkins. Outlet Penny. He'll release from 29. Backed it off. No good. 2 emphatic swat-aways by Gary Wilkins. He's the MVP of the title game if Vance Charter puts it away. 19 points, 13 rebounds, 2 blocks in 10 seconds toward the end of the third. And Vance Charter 8 minutes away from history. Here are your Arthritis Knee Pain Center stats for the third quarter. At Arthritis Knee Pain Center's relief without surgery or opioids.
The big number there is the score, 22-point lead for Vance Charter, but how did they get that? The rebounding has been a huge factor, Patrick. +9 there. Winning in the turnovers, and Wilkins has had a huge game in the paint area.
I mean, what a last 10 seconds for him. 2 block shots with authority. He has half of Vance Charter's team rebounds. They have 26. He has 13 of them. 6 on the offensive glass. 4 now in double figures for Vance Charter as we begin this fourth quarter. And all they need to do now is just protect the basketball, take some time, be selective, because this state title is in the palm of their hands. And they kind of spread it out, a little 4 corners action here for Vance Charter. Shrinking the game. Back out front to Pentney. They're taking 30 seconds off already.
It's a zone pressure. Thomas Jefferson may have to switch back to man-to-man.
And this is as deliberate of an offensive set we've seen the entire title game. Turrentine finishes. They took 44 seconds off of the clock to begin the fourth quarter. Break down the zone and get a bucket. And the lead back to 22 as Ben Fuller has his first points of the title game.
13 points for Turrentine. But for Thomas Jefferson, he's got his deficit. You cannot trade buckets. You've got to go on a huge run. And right now, with the time left, and as Vance Charter's protecting the basketball, they're just continuing to shorten this game.
And Jay, you're right. They went right out of that extended 2-3 straight into man-to-man after that first possession. And Lawson picks up his 3rd foul. And again, that looked like a foul to me, like that's what the strategy for the Griffons will be. Commit some fouls, hope they miss some free throws, because there's no reason to take a foul out there if that wasn't the strategy. But there's a ton of foul trouble for the Griffons as well. Richardson tosses out front. Hughes, the blow by, the scoop with the right, no. Wilkins kept it alive and tracks down his 14th board. Dangerous skip pass, taken away. Surratt leads it 2-on-1, and it's blocked out of his fingers by Turrentine and out of bounds to Vance Charter. Now the call has been changed. A little fumble there. There's the block. Off the glass, off the arm, and the call has been reversed. It will belong to Thomas Jefferson. Carl Armstrong correcting his missed call. Surratt walked. (64-42) Vance Charter.
They're going to stay in their man-to-man defense.
And another foul taken by Lawson. That's 4 now on Gage Lawson. And his last 2 fouls have been 40 feet away from the bucket and about 65 there. So 2 team fouls on Thomas Jefferson in this fourth quarter.
They've got 5 guys that have 3 or more fouls.
Yeah.
So
I mean, if that's their strategy, they may run out of players. And there's another one, and Lawson has just fouled out of the game.
And look at the reaction over on the sideline. They were not trying to foul. He was going for a steal.
Yeah. And he's a bit injured as well, but Gage Lawson has now taken 3 fouls in the first 1:52 of this fourth quarter, and he's out. And he's also hurt. And let's watch what happened to Lawson here. There's the reach around, an awkward landing. And they're checking on his right hip area at the end of the bench for the Griffons. Omar Griffin is back in. Pentney tipped out. Stays with Vance Charter.
A good recovery from Surratt, knocking that ball out of bounds. You're down 22 points if you're Vance Charter. And Patrick, of course you can attack if you see a crease, but I would just pull the ball out, continue to shorten this ball game up and waste time.
Oh, look at that flip in from Wilkins. He's been the offensive juggernaut in the game, but he had the eyes and the vision to find Richardson. And there's a takeaway. Steal by Hughes. Outlet Richardson scooping. Missed it. Fuller the board. 4-on-1 the other way. And there is Omar Griffin into double figures, and a quick timeout by the Griffons. 66-44.
Full timeout for the Griffins.
5:27 for the fourth. So the Griffons will huddle up down by 22. Meanwhile, Gage Lawson, who is fouled out, is still at the end of the bench being treated by the athletic training staff. Vance Charter leading 66-44. There is a look at Lawson, who fouled out with 7 points in this title game.
The big difference was the third quarter when Vance Charter won there. 26 points and only 13 for Thomas Jefferson. So coming out of the halftime break, they really turned it on, hit an extra gear to stretch out the lead.
Remember, toward the end of that second quarter, Thomas Jefferson had the ball with a shot to get within 5 or 4 at that stage.
5 points, yeah.
Missed a shot, went into the break down by 9, and then it was immediate push by Vance Charter, and this game has not been close ever since.
No, you're exactly right. They had a missed layup with around 10 seconds left. Didn't fall. Then Vance Charter took it the other way, was able to connect. And then they went up 9 at halftime. They haven't looked back.
I mean, this is a good ball club. Wilkins averaging 20 a game, two-time conference player of the year. I mean, he has been the man today. 19 points, 14 rebounds. But when Thomas Jefferson has attempted to take him out of the game, he's had so many other teammates stepping up. There's Colin Hughes, his first points of the title game. It's a 3 from the right corner. Sponsored by Paramount Auto. Visit ParamountAuto.com. 69-44, and now the wheels are falling off for the Griffons. Another unforced turnover right in the path of Will Lewis, who's done a tremendous job as the first-year head coach for Thomas Jefferson Classical Academy.
And they're the 8th seed coming into this tournament. But they have just run into a talented and hot Vance Charter team that has been clicking in all areas in this ballgame.
Inside 5 minutes to play. And there's a foul taken by Surratt, and he's done. So Surratt has fouled out. He will join Lawson on the bench. And meanwhile, there are 3 other players on this Thomas Jefferson team with 3 fouls. So Surratt is done. And like Malachi, he's never really had a chance to get involved as much as he normally has been over the course of the year with early first quarter foul trouble. So Chase Collick back on the floor with 3 fouls for the Griffons. 4:40 for regulation. And Pentney is fouled. That's the 4th on Collick.
Pentney has an ability to kind of go at the defender to decide to get the fouls called. I mean, he is so quick, but also heady, knowing how to attack.
I mean, he kind of gets him either on the wrong foot or making a motion, then boom, he's into him.
And that is a skill, is knowing how to get the defender going one way, then going right at his weak point where he doesn't have enough time to get back in front and getting the contact.
One more from the See-Through Construction free throw line. It is good from Pentney. See-Through Construction, your contractor of choice on the OBX. 14 now for Pentney, 70-44. Vance Charter running away with it here in the second half. The takeaway, the outlet, Richardson one-on-one, and we'll roll it off, but it's a travel prior to the drive. This was a 36-27 game at halftime. But a 34-17 push by the Knights. Layup is missed. Tipped out. Luther got the 3. And a timeout. That will leave Thomas Jefferson with 1. Paramount Kia of Asheville 3-pointer by Bryson Luther. One of the 4 seniors on this Thomas Jefferson team. Visit ParamountAuto.com. 4:11 left. Even though this is the final game in all regards here of the season, coaching never stops for Will Lewis, despite trailing by 23 with 4:11 to go.
And for his team, they've just run into a Vance Charter team that has been excellent throughout this ball game, and this is a group that he's still trying to teach. And they're going to lose 4 really good seniors, but I would expect them to come back with a great, solid core to try to return here next year.
This is a Thomas Jefferson Classical team. They had not even ever reached their regional final before this year. And again, they were 9-7 in their Catawba River Conference, which is a combination of small schools at the Class 1A, 2A, and 3A levels. So finishing fourth in that kind of league with some teams that also have had great postseason runs this year. Now, that's not a knock at all on the Griffons. This is not a team that has gotten lucky and gotten hot. I mean, this is a high-quality team in a great kind of hybrid league. Their last 3 rounds in the playoffs, they took down the top seed, the 4 seed, and the 2 seed. So they've earned their spot here and just have run into a juggernaut in the title game.
Thomas Jefferson foul charge to number 1, Omar.
First foul on Omar Griffin. Griffin off of the bench is the leading scorer for Thomas Jefferson in this title game. He has 10 points. Couple of free throws for Vance Charter. Richardson makes the first. One more coming from the See-Through Construction free throw line. See-Through Construction, your contractor of choice on the OBX.
Well, Vance Charter, 4 guys in double figures, 1 other with 9 points. So this has been a balanced scoring effort throughout their starting lineup.
12 now for Richardson. Check that, 14 now for Richardson. Little floater on the baseline is dropped in by Malachi. 72-49. Pass saved into the hands of Gary Wilkins, who's just more been of a facilitator here in the second half for Vance Charter. Hesitation, crossover, Richardson, and he's facilitating no more. Took the breakdown bounce pass from Richardson and a 2-hand flush for Gary Wilkins. 21 points, 14 rebounds, and a memorable late title game dunk by their star.
Unselfish pass from Richardson as the turnover is called here. Everything is working for Vance Charter.
It's our final media timeout. It will be a 3-minute and 27-second coronation for Vance Charter when we come back. They're on their way to their first ever title. First ever title appearance for both Thomas Jefferson and Vance Charter. 74-49 lead for Vance Charter. Right there is the head coach for Vance Charter, that's Taryn Downey. He played his college ball here at the Joel Coliseum 4 years, recruited and played for one of the all-time great coaches for Wake Forest, Skip Prosser. I was walking around the bowl area around the court at halftime today where the locker rooms are, the officials' locker rooms, and the restaurant area. Lob to the rim, there's Wilkins again. 23 for Wilkins. Couldn't help but see a couple of the teammates' jerseys in frames in that outer concourse. Teammates of Downey, Chris Paul, Josh Howard, and this one is getting out of hand, turns on the bucket. This is one of the few times he's been back in this building, and here he is 2 minutes away from taking his high school team to a state title. I'm ever so curious what memories he had of playing with those guys, what were flooding through his head when he came into the arena before this contest. We got to look at our play of the game nominee, Hakeem Monastopolo Law Firm. They will clear the floor now. Downey will take his starters out. They've done their damage, and they're going to be lifting a banner at the Henderson, North Carolina Vance Charter School. And I'm looking at Taron Downey right now. He's holding out that left hand. He just tapped it with his right hand on his ring finger at the fans, saying, we got a ring coming. It is on the way. Fuller at the foul line.
I think I'll ask him that question after the ball game when we talk with him.
There we go. There we go. Set you up. 2:37 to play. And now we'll get some names of some players of the Knights who are on the floor. Bringing it up, Jake Wren, number 11. He's on the floor. He's an outgoing senior for the Knights. And he turns the basketball over at midcourt. And a tie-up. Tyler Hicks, number 13, is on the floor in the pink Nikes and the sport glasses. Zach Medlin, number 15, is out there. Weston Yount, a senior, wearing number 10. And Ryan Weinholtz, number 23. These are guys who are on the scout team. They rarely get a chance to play. Here they are getting a couple of quality minutes in the fourth quarter of a state title game. And all of their teammates are begging that these guys get a shot up and score some points. The starters on the bench, they've done their job. Now they want to enjoy it. Watch these five make a memory for themselves. Weinholtz lost it, got it away, and Medlin saving off the fingers and save. Jake Wren, they want him to shoot, the fans do. Weaving in, it's blocked out of his hands with 1:45 to go. And a whistle stops the clock with 1:44. I don't know what big wins Wake had during the 4 years that Taron Downey played here as the point guard, but I know they had some huge ones. I didn't look through their schedule of the big wins when Taron was playing here back, I think it was 01 to 05 here for Wake Forest. He never played in the NBA, but he had a very good European professional career. Played for 10 years overseas. Three-pointer is missed. Vigas the rebound. And up the floor, Jake Wren. But I know for all of the big memories, big wins that the Demon Deacons had when Downey was here, I don't know that any of those will trump what these 32 minutes today leading this Vance Charter team, a 1A school, has never played for a state title, into his building where he spent 4 years and walking out of here with a demonstrative state title.
It's definitely special for him in a different way. When you look up and seeing all the fans here supporting your players, supporting you, and having that responsibility as a head coach and bringing home a championship, that's a whole completely different feeling and kind of aspect to a big win. And for me, you know, being back here on his home floor, you'd have to imagine there's going to be a lot of emotions once he gets the trophy.
He just did a quick little handshake with their radio broadcast crew, which is right at the end of their bench on that side table on the end zone. I mean, he wants this to belong to everybody. And again, keep in mind, this team was 18 points down in the second half a couple of days ago in the regional final. I mean, you can make a strong case they shouldn't even be here. And they're going to walk out of here with their first ever state basketball title. Final minute. Well short and on the end line.
They didn't give up in that regional final, and there's a lot of lessons that you can learn, a lot of highs and lows throughout the season, and their low almost ended their year, but they came back in that ball game over at Minji's Coliseum. They're able to find a way, and then now you see the smiles over there, what they were able to accomplish. But it wasn't easy, even though this game has been, you know, a huge victory all in their favor. It hasn't been an easy road.
Jay, in that regional final game, they led 32-minute game. They led for 1 minute and 40 seconds.
That's all that matters.
But they led for the last second, which is the only second that matters. Three-pointer on the way. A little bit short from Devin Wilson, a freshman on the floor for the Griffons. Final 10 seconds, loose ball, and one last foul with 7 seconds to go. And I'm looking down, Taron Downey, he is sitting at the end of his bench. I mean, he is sitting down almost away from the team. I think he's about to be overwhelmed by emotions. He is all by himself as the final second ticks off, and Taron Downey returns to Winston-Salem and takes Vance Charter to its first ever state basketball title. They are the 1A men's champions. 79-54 win for the Knights over Thomas Jefferson Classical Academy. What a homecoming for Taron Downey. We'll come back with a celebration. Jay will be with Taron when we return. Vance Charter, the 1A men's basketball champs. Vance Charter defeats Thomas Jefferson, their first ever 1A title. Jason Hall is with the head coach, the former Deacon, Taron Downey.
Coach, what a victory. So many great performances, but talk about Gary Wilkins, what he was able to do.
Man, he's just been the same this entire season, man. So it's nothing like I haven't seen, but I knew in order for us to get this win, he was going to have to play like he is, and that's just a big guy.
And you're down 18 points in the regional final. You come back in that ball game. Then you come out here and put out this performance. What does this say about the team?
I said all the time, it's resiliency, you know what I mean? Like being down 18 and these guys didn't give up, that just shows a lot of character, a lot of heart. And then tonight, we just had a different focus. You know, we didn't want to just come out and give them a head start. So, we kind of said, we'll try to start a little bit better and see what happens. And good things happen.
And Coach, you were a star player here. You played on this floor. What does it feel like to not only come back here, but come back with your team to come out here and have this performance, win the state championship? What are those emotions like?
I'm trying not to cry, but man, it's just a great feeling, like how life comes back full circle. You know what I mean? I've been here and I play, and now my guys get to come here and we win a championship. I mean, you can't write a script better now, I don't think.
Well, I know this is a special moment for you. Congratulations, you've got a great team.
I appreciate it so much. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Jay. Thank you, Taron Downey. Congratulations to Vance Charter School, 1A men's championship. Let's get to our play of the game, brought to you by Akeem Manastapulo Law Firm. Injured? Don't scream. Call Akeem. Dial 800 all sevens. And here is the play of the game. The toss from Pentney the flush from Gary Wilkins. Part of a huge championship game for Gary Wilkins. That is our player of the game. Came very late in the fourth quarter as he closes out his career. Now, the Riddle player of the game. Brought to you by Riddle & Riddle Injury Lawyers. Riddle & Riddle when justice counts. We brought up his name a moment ago. He's back. Gary Wilkins. Huge state title game. 23 points, 14 rebounds, 7 on the offensive side, 4 assists, 2 blocks in succession on the same play, 2 steals, and also an 11 of 13 from the floor. And Gary Wilkins, our play of the game, brought to you by Riddle & Riddle. All right, Jay, welcome back. Great job with Taryn Downey. The emotions were about to get the better of him, wasn't it?
Yeah, he held it in, but he was so proud, and you could just tell and feel that when I was speaking with him. For him, I mean, you play and you love being a player, but coming back as a coach and being able to impact these kids, to give them this moment, be a part of this team and this community, I know it's something for him that's got to feel great and be very special.
And let's take a look at the final stats for the game, brought to you by the Arthritis Knee Pain Center. Arthritis Knee Pain Center, relief without surgery or opioids, Jay.
His team did a great job on the boards. They won with the turnover margin, but the biggest thing was they went on runs. They played great defense, and Thomas Jefferson, I thought, played really hard. They just went against the Vance Charter team that today was their day.
79-54 the final. Now, our last look at the ready-to-roll garage doors points in the paint. And here are the numbers. 48-32 advantage for Vance Charter, and a lot of those from Gary Wilkins. Ready to roll? Call Raleigh's Garage Door experts today. So the runner-up trophy has been given off to Thomas Jefferson Classical Academy. They closed the year 16-13. Well, what a run all the way to their first ever state title appearance. And now the celebration really begins for Taryn Downey's Vance Charter School Knights. And that is Langston Turntine's dad right there, CJ. He said, I hope you don't mind, we're sitting behind you. We're going to be loud, was his warning about 30 minutes before tip-off. He's right, and we loved every minute of it. 4 in double figures for the Knights. Wilkins 23, Turrentine had 15, Pentney and Richardson 14 apiece, and Washington had 9.
This was a total team win. I mean, there were contributions from everyone, and everybody got into the ball game. So this is going to be a game that's very meaningful and one they'll remember forever, and something they can be so proud of coming back to the school and celebrating with their classmates the rest of this season, but years down the road.
They will graduate 3 starters: Gary Wilkins, Colin Hughes, and Kean Richardson. Otherwise, we'll hear from Langston Turntine's dad again potentially next year. He has 1 more year left in Pentney. Pentney was really impressive. Blue-collar, hard worker, all ends of the floor, drew a lot of fouls, was at the line, and he was a terrific player to watch today for Vance Charter.
They're very well coached, they're disciplined, and throughout this ball game, after the first couple minutes, didn't you just get the feeling that they settled in, they had rhythm, they weren't overcome by this atmosphere in this arena. They really came out here and just clicked on offense and defense, and Wilkins was the force in this ball game.
There's the big ovation for Gary Wilkins. And now we'll get a big ovation for Taryn Downey. He's going to walk to center court at his former court, the Deacon. Out he comes. This may very well be the biggest moment of his basketball career. And he's had some big moments. Played for the Deacons, playing professionally for 10 years. But I think it's different. This is just me opining. It is different when you are shaping lives of 15, 14 to 18-year-olds instead of being the guy whose life was shaped by Skip Prosser and company here at Wake Forest. Championship banner, the championship trophies, and a first ever basketball title for Vance Charter. And the beauty of a game like this, where you have Vance Charter and Thomas Jefferson Classical, I talked with Q Tucker, the commissioner of the NCHSAA, for about 20 minutes before the opening tip-off here today. She's been a longtime friend of mine. And I said, it's the opportunity like this to jump from 4 classifications to 8. Now you have 16 different champions we'll see over these next 4 days. It now provides opportunities for these type of schools to play for a state title. Yes, the brackets are smaller because you have now 8 different brackets instead of 4. But Vance Charter and Thomas Jefferson Classical may well never have gotten to a spot like this if you still play in the traditional 4-class format. And now look at what it has done for these high schools, for the communities, and now for truly the even deeper impact that Will Lewis and Taryn Downey can have on their kids, on their players through this playoff run to Winston-Salem.
Congratulations, Chance Malachi. Most outstanding player from the West representative, Thomas Jefferson Classical Academy.
And the most outstanding player for the Griffons, Chance Malachi.
And now the most outstanding player, powered by the United States Army.
The most outstanding player for the winning side for Vance Charter.
Vance Charter School is number 1, Langston Turntine.
15 points. Now, the most outstanding player is not the MVP. And again, it's their first time here. They may not know how it works.
Ladies and gentlemen,
now we will get the MVP of the title game.
Charlie Adams, most valuable player.
And now we're about to hear cheers for Gary Wilkins.
NCHSAA Executive Director, the Charlie Adams MVP, courtesy of Morgan & Morgan. For this 1A Men's Championship game is from Vance Charter School. It's number 34, Gary Wilkins.
Now they get it. And Gary Wilkins will get the MVP plaque. What a performance. Celebrations complete, as is the title run by Vance Charter School, the Knights. A 79-54 win over Thomas Jefferson Classical. Well, Jay, that's 1 of 16. We're 6% in the finish line. Congratulations to Vance Charter School. They are the 1A men's basketball champs of 2026. Well, all of us would like to take a minute to thank the wonderful sponsor partners, Riddle & Riddle Injury Lawyers, Air Experts Heating and Cooling, Tatum & Atkinson, See-Through Construction, Ready to Roll Garage Doors, Arthritis Knee Pain Center, Akeem Manastapulo Law Firm, Paramount Auto, Tip Top Roofing, Original Grills, and Ingles Markets. And all these sponsor partners, through their contributions to the program, make these championship games possible for all of our viewers at home. Final score, the 1A Men's Championship is coming to Henderson, North Carolina, and Vance Charter, 79-54 over Thomas Jefferson. So long from Winston-Salem.